Good evening, folks. Welcome once again to the Teahouse. Tonight, we are doing blackberry tea again, just because it sounded really good tonight for some reason. I don't know, but that's what we're going to do. Tonight's stream was at least in part because a friend of the show recently went to a Chinese martial arts competition in Florida, and one of the events at said competition was push hands. And I have issues with push hands competitions. And I figured my channel, and if I want to complain about the way that certain Asian martial arts are portrayed in the public, then this is probably a pretty good forum to do so. So that's what we're going to do. But first, as always, catch up on the comments here. And first through the door is my lovely Foxy. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Teahouse. And there's Kitty. Hi, all. Hello, kitten. How you doing? And Dan is here. Good evening, Dan. Evening, Dan. How has your day been? Busy but productive. Oh, well. That kind of sounds like a Saturday. Been kind of the opposite, nice and relaxing. It really has been. And Uncle Carl joins us. Hello, everyone. Hello, Carl. And Dan greets Carl. And Carl greets Dan and Kitty and Foxy. Carl says, I had fun today trimming trees and now the arm is hurting again. Getting older is not always fun. No, it's really not. But it's, yeah, better than the alternative. Yeah. It really is. The alternative is yeah. Hey, lurkers, wake up. Oh, well, it's Saturday. Going to get some water, be back before the show. Okay. See you in a minute. Puttering about making tea and closing the blinds and trying to get everything set up here. Good to have tea in a tea house. Yeah. I mean, I did water last time, but that's because the whole entire point of the show was water. And the time before that, I didn't have time to make tea because we literally slid in the door and had to start the stream. That was when I got all sunburned going to my nephew's birthday party, which also gave me the idea for the, doing the water the next time. So good side, bad side. Yeah. Kitty wonders what tea. Well, like I said, blackberry tea. Foxy had no idea. Local farm store had big tea boxes with selection Christmas. Oh, got one for half price after the holiday. Sadly, they're now closed. There we go. Keep looking at other stores just in case. Don't blame me. I don't either. You find something you like, it's natural to keep looking. And that's kind of what happened with my black cherry tea that I got in the sampler pack back there. I haven't been able to find a pack of just that tea except online, and I am poor. So, and Trey is greeting us. Evening all. Evening, Trey. How you doing? Foxy greeting Trey, and Carl greeting Trey, and there's Trey's better half. Good evening, everyone. Evening, Joe. Fred heard the intro music and came running to watch with us. Okay. We have the cat contingent watching us then. Hello, Bread. How you doing? There's a dog. Right there. There's a dog. Left you a Munzie message in the app. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Carl greeting Joe. That is cute. And Foxy greeting Joe and Aunt Donna. Hey, all. Hello, Donna. Foxy greeting Donna. Don't forget to like and share. I know you're subscribed. I hope so. Equally awesome friend of the show, Sarah, subscribed. Oh, that was a mouthful. Subscribed yesterday after getting a chance to watch my journal making video. So that was cool. If she ever decides to stop by here, that would be most appreciated. And Carl greeting Donna. Tea shop in the town 30 miles away. We need to go back. Yes, you do. And then you need to send it all to me so I can have more tea. No, really, please don't. Don't. I still have boxes and boxes of stuff that I haven't finished. One more item for the next Munzie show. Yes. Especially since it's easier to get into these days. Awful steps are gone, and there's even a ramp. Oh, nice. Yep, there goes Hooli. She likes to come in every once in a while because she always gets confused when she hears me talking, and then there's no one for me to be talking to. So she has to come investigate. Plus, I mean, come on, she's obviously the real star of this show. No one tunes in to see this. They tune in to see her. Now, if they've only fixed the floor inside. Floors are good to have. Really good turmeric peach ginger tea. Oh, that sounds... Well, I don't know. Because a lot of times, at least for me, a lot of the peach teas that I have had, they just taste like watered down peach. Peach flavor is not really very present. It's like, someone poured a glass of water and ate a peach and then burped it into the cup. That's kind of what most of the peach teas that I have tried. Of course, I can't really try any of the good ones because, again, I am poor. So I like my blackberry. I like my raspberry, the black cherry, the wild berry. Looked up the TV like, what? Yeah, her little ears. Huh? What? Okay, so as I said, a friend of the show who I don't think has ever actually been here live because she's always busy on Saturdays. She recently went to the International Martial Arts. Yeah. I can't remember all of it, but it was a Chinese martial arts competition in Florida. She did a fan form, which is awesome. And she also did push hands as part of, the push hands competition. Oh, okay. Turmeric and the ginger help the peach come through. Okay. I'll have to see if I can keep an eye out for something like that then. Because I like peach is, but peach tea usually just really does not have a very good peach flavor to it. Now, anyone who has taken a good Tai Chi class learns push hands. It should be part of the curriculum in every good Tai Chi class. Because if you're just learning a Tai Chi form, you're not learning Tai Chi. Push hands helps you to understand what internal martial arts is supposed to be. It teaches you about timing, coordination, leveraging, reflex, rooting yourself. It should be a part of every single Tai Chi curriculum. Now, anyone who has actually watched push hands knows it is a partnered exercise where you are standing at distance, and that distance is going to change depending on the reach of the two people. They're going to be standing at distance, and they will be pushing and then reacting to the incoming push. And you can go clockwise, you can go counterclockwise, or as my Shifu Jack always liked to see, anti-clockwise. Yes, he didn't say counterclockwise. He said anti-clockwise. You can go clockwise, you can go counterclockwise, you can go vertical, horizontal. You can change in mid, starting one way, stop, go the other way, stop, go up. It's meant to teach you body mechanics. It's meant to teach you to counteract your body's natural reflex of meeting force with force. Everyone naturally reacts to someone pushing against them by pushing back. That's just the way the body works. So push hands is there to teach you to move and just let the force take you. If you're doing push hands, there's many different styles of push hands. There's one hand, there's two hands, but the one that a lot of people see most often, I'm trying to back up to see if I can get my hands in the frame, is one hand leads and your other hand is going to be down here by your elbow. And then when you push, your palm is going to be pointing out and your palm is going to be connected to the other person's elbow. So you're going to push, and then once you get here, try and get my hand in it. Once you get here, you're going to turn your wrist, and they're going to start pushing you now. Now that's most of the time when you see push hands, that's what you're going to see. You can also just do it with the one hand, but you're going to be, push and retract and turn and push and retract and turn. You're meant to feel the opponent's movement and flow with them instead of trying to push back. You know, if someone's pushing you here and you're pushing back this way, that's not push hands. You're just doing force against force. And that's the antithesis of what push hands is supposed to be. It's meant to teach you to flow with the opponent, to use their force against them. And every single push hands competition that I have ever seen is the complete opposite of that. You do not see people flowing with the opponent. Every competition that I have ever personally seen or watched on YouTube is the complete opposite of what it's supposed to be. Competitions in push hands are either moving or fixed, which, you know, a moving push hand, you're allowed to move around. You're supposed to move around. And the opponents will stand, usually in a circle, and it always devolves into basically a sumo match. It will devolve into, we're just pushing against each other, force against force, to see who can push the other person out of the circle. It's force against force. It's pushing against pushing. You're not using push hands. You can circle each other in moving step. You're allowed to move around, but you have to stay inside that circle. And whoever gets pushed out of the circle or pulled or trips, they lose, you know, they lose a point or they lose the match. Fixed step is basically the same thing, except you're not allowed to move. You're just standing there in one spot facing your opponent. And again, it just devolves into, I'm going to push you, you're going to push me, we're going to push each other until one person falls over or gets pulled or gets pushed out of the circle. That is not push hands, people. It might as well be a sumo match. The entire thought process behind push hands is to teach you not to do that. It's meant as an exercise in flowing with your opponent. And that's not what you're doing. It just drives me completely up the wall. Because Tai Chi, as an internal art, and this goes for every internal art, is about soft overcoming hard. Wait. Not the green room. It is meant to teach you to not meet force with force. Internal arts, that's what it means. External is force on force. Someone goes to punch at you and you hard block that out of the way using your forearm where it's bone on bone. Internal arts are meant to teach you to redirect that. Someone punches at you and you, with your wrist and the turning of you, redirect that punch away from your face. And that's not what push hands competitions are. Push hands competitions are all force on force. Whoever is the stronger is going to win. That's why most push hands competitions have weight divisions. Because if you're at a disadvantage, if someone is bigger and heavier and stronger than you with this particular competition, you're going to lose. Or they assume you're going to lose. Got some comments here. Take a minute to calm down. Only seen one martial arts show and it was kids and young people. Yeah. Oh, Dawn is here. Hi, Dawn. Evening. And Carl greeting Dawn. And Donna greeting Dawn. And Foxy greeting Dawn. Sounds like the opposite of tug of war. Yeah, pretty much. That's not a bad comparison because, once again, when you're doing tug of war, it's force against force. You're pulling in the opposite direction instead of pushing towards each other. Tiny little diversion. Several years ago, we went to a friend's apartment upstate. We spent the night. And that night, the apartment complex was doing this whole, welcome party, I guess. I guess they do it every year when they have, all of the new tenants come in and they meet the older tenants and you get to know your neighbors. And there was a pool party and they had games. And one of the games they had was a tug of war. Now, it was me and Foxy and Foxy's brother and our friend and his wife. There we go. We were sitting in the hot tub and they announced the tug of war competition. And our friend was like, let's go, let's go play. So we all jump out of the hot tub and run over there. And there are two groups on either side of the pool. And over on this side is all young, muscular, jacked young guys. And then on this side is mostly kids and girls. And I went and joined this side. And I got on the very back at the end of the rope, and everyone else came and joined on this side. Everyone on this side, all the big, muscular, young, jacked guys, looked at our group over here and laughed. Because it was kids and girls and scrawny little me. Until they started pulling. There's a reason that I went to the very end of the rope. I was going to be the anchor for that group. That's what I did. I grabbed the end of that rope wrapped it around my wrist, held it so it wasn't going anywhere, planted my feet, and here's where the Tai Chi came in. Instead of leaning back like most people would expect you to do, to try and pull the rope taut, I leaned forward. Now, why did I do that? Why would I want to lean into the pull? Because I was using every single other person across the pool from me against them. When they started to pull that rope, I was still there we go. It was still force on force because there was still other people in front of me that were pulling. But you could see, if you looked, the rope was taut all the way until it got to me, and then it dipped. Because I wasn't pulling as hard as everyone else was. I was letting them pull me forward and rolling with it. At first, the stronger side was winning. There was a little boy at the very front of our group. And when that initial tug came, he went over the pool and was dangling off of the rope. And Foxy's brother, my brother-in-law, grabbed him, pulled him back in, and basically handed him off to the next person behind him until I put him in front of me. But I was rolling. Every time they tugged, I would roll with it. And within probably 3 or 4 minutes, we had them. They were leaning back, pulling, a group of 6 or 7 buff, jacked guys, and they're scooting forward. And the competition was over the first time that someone went into the pool. And I could see the person at the very front across the pool from me. And his toes were gripping the very edge of the pool. They started, 3 or 4 steps back. And now he was right there. And I knew all it would take. So the next time that they pulled and then released, because they couldn't, you can't hold a tug forever. Eventually you're going to have to stop and reset yourself. So they pulled and released, and I just grabbed that rope and leaned forward and jerked that rope, and he went in. I was using the entire force on the other side of that rope against them. Because I'd been doing internal martial arts for so long that was my natural reaction. It's still force. I was still pulling on the rope. But I was also rolling when they pulled, letting their force circle back and go forward. You can tell it really eats its thesis to see it done wrong. Yeah. He gets ranty. I'm glad others have. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Imagine Donald likes when I rant to others too. Yeah. I'm sure our significant others get tired of listening to us just yell at them, so evened out nicely, yes. Yeah, see? It was fun. At one point, the little guy was hanging out over the water. I remember grabbing him and slipping him behind me so he wouldn't fall. And then he got moved to the next person and the next person until he was right in front of me at the very back of. Yes, our net is being choppy. We had some rain earlier and it's kind of cloudy out there, so. No worries about the internet. I've already got StreamYard pulled up in case the internet goes. Okay, cool. Thank you, Joe. Been fine all day. Figures now would be problematic. Yeah. Know there have been internet issues the last 2 days? Yeah. Foxy's phone been out because of the issues. It works on Wi-Fi for apps, but can't make calls or anything. And Alec is joining us. Hello, Alec. How you doing? Just got back from dinner. Interesting night. Uh-oh. Not being able to hear does come in handy sometimes. Ouch. Donna greeting Alec. And Foxy greeting Alec. And Trey greeting. Everyone's happy to see Alec. Hope dinner was good. Patty melt and half grounds. Ooh. We are having barbecue pulled chicken. It's in the crock pot on the stove back there. So back to these push hands competitions. Every single one that I've ever seen. I've never seen one in person. I don't even know if they do those kind of competitions here. I have no idea. I suppose it's possible because when my Shifu Jack was having me as part of the team, one of the coaches, he wanted us to learn forms, quote unquote, perfectly for competition. So I assume that means there's competitions here. Probably up in Salt Lake or, up that way. Yeah. Kitchen lacks much in flat places. Often the crock pot goes over the stove. Yeah. It used to go right on that corner right there. But that's where the air fryer is. Now, I have never seen a competition in person. But I have watched a lot of them on YouTube and a lot of, online places. And every single time, every single one I have ever watched, the bigger, stronger, heavier person wins every single time. And it's because you aren't actually utilizing the skills that push hands is supposed to teach you. Yeah, and there's Hooli again. Coming through, investigating. Air fryer is good. I love our air fryer. I haven't actually, oil fried anything in... I think we got that thing 3 years ago. It was a Christmas gift from my brother. I use it all the time now. Yes, Alec, there was my hoodie. What you didn't see is her coming right up to the side of the chair, right down here, and demanding pets and loves, which I gave because I'm a pushover when it comes to her. I don't deny it. When she wants the scratches and she wants the loves, most of the time she's going to get it. But anyway, internal martial arts as a whole are meant to teach you that you do not have to be the biggest, strongest person in the room to win. It is about meeting force with fluidity. We talked about this last time when we were talking about training in water. You know, if you try and push against the waves, push back against the waves, eventually the waves are going to knock you on your ass. No matter how good you are, no matter how tall or strong, eventually you're going to meet someone bigger or stronger or better than you. There is a reason that I learn internal martial arts. There's a reason that I learn Tai Chi and boxing. I know for a fact that I am not the biggest, strongest, best person out there. I never will be. Because even if I never meet, which I have, even if I never meet the person that's better than me, I know they're out there. So I am always going to strive to be the kind of martial artist that would be ready to meet that person. I started martial arts learning an external style. I think most of the people here know this. But my very first martial arts shifu was an old, white-haired, goatee Chinese man that I happened to run across while walking home from school. I decided, for whatever reason, to take a detour from the path I usually took home from school. And there was this old Chinese man teaching his granddaughter out of his garage. And he was doing things that up until that point I had never seen before. You know, up until that point, I had seen karate and a lot of, Japanese styles. And then I see this man, hooking a wrist with his hand like this, hooking a punch and redirecting that energy, and then pushing his granddaughter back. And I'm watching this going, this is interesting. But it was still an external style. And I learned from him for a little while until he unfortunately passed. And then I picked up Bruce Lee's Tao of Jeet Kune Do, which basically tells you that styles are limiting. because a style is going to tell you this is what you are. This is how you fight. So Jeet Kune Do in and of itself is more of a martial philosophy than it is an actual martial art. It teaches you to get out of that mindset of styles, of rigid understanding of martial arts. Then Foxy took Tai Chi from what later became my Shifu, and I learned the Yang Simplified 24 just from watching her class. I take the class. I never took the class. I watched her class. I didn't even watch every single class. But the next semester, I took his Kung Fu class, and he was teaching Mantis again. And I remembered the Mantis that I learned from my first Shifu. So I'm like, hey, I want to brush up on my Mantis. So I took him. And one day I kind of made the mistake of offhand mentioning that I learned the Yang Simplified 24 without ever taking the class. I was talking to another student in the class, and I didn't realize that Shifu was behind me. And so he kind of challenged me. He's like, he's like, oh, you think you know the form? And at first I kind of panicked, but then I was like, no, you know what? Yeah, I think I do. He said, okay, next class. Next week, you're going to show the class. So I had a week to worry about that. That was fun. I practiced more in those 7 days than I think I have since, because I was so worried. And I get to the class. It was a once a week class. It was Wednesday night from like 6 to 7:30 or something like that. I don't remember. And I always got there early because I always like to practice alone without people watching me. Because again, I was not as, I don't know. I'm trying to find the right word here. I didn't have as much faith in myself back then as I do now. That person in those classes would never be on YouTube right now. Thank you, Carl. Yes, confident. Thank you. Yes. Yes, that's a magic that pets have over us. No kidding. Getting love from Foxy and shedding everywhere, and now she's back in here. Oh, baby. Hi, sweetie. I would never have posted videos of myself on YouTube doing forms because I didn't think that I was good enough. So I always got there early and I practiced. And then we get to the beginning of class. And usually classes was warm up and stretching and everything, but I had already done that. So Shifu calls the class up and has them line up, and he tells them that I am going to be performing the Yang Simplified 24 form for the class. And I was incredibly nervous. And then once I started, I don't remember anything. Nothing. From opening to close, I remember nothing. The same thing happened the first time I got up on stage and did a Tien form. I remember nothing from opening move to closing move. I don't remember nothing. But Shifu had so much faith in me that as soon as I was done, he walked over to his bag and he pulled out the certificates that he prints. Hang on a second. I cannot find them, but I have a binder of certificates that he printed for me from all of the forms that I learned from him. And when he handed me excuse me. When he handed me that certificate, I realized that he printed that out without ever actually watching me do the form. He was, again, confident enough, had enough faith in me that he went and printed it without actually seeing me do the form. So then I had Mantis twice, Tai Chi, and then I started doing Bagua within the last 5 or 6 years. So the way I fight now is a weird Frankenstein mashup of Mantis and Tai Chi and Bagua. But I can use each one individually in a fight if I need to. What the hell was the point of that whole big rambling story? The point is, if I needed to, I could use just what I learned in Tai Chi and just push hands to get out of a situation. Push hands taught me that if someone is throwing a punch at my face, my natural reaction of trying to slap it out of the way or, bone on bone block that thing is not the right way to go. It's just not. Because even if I am stronger or faster or better than the person throwing that punch, I might mistime it. Against force is never the right way. I had a whole stream about this a few months ago. You don't meet force with force. I did push hands, actual push hands, with that Sherfool. And he is shorter than me. And I have better reach than him. I am stronger. I am heavier. But when we were doing real, genuine push hands, he could knock me off balance. Every time. Because he was using my strength, my force, my weight against me. He wasn't pushing against my push. He was rolling with it. That's what push hands is supposed to be. These competitions are just who is stronger. And that's not what push hands is supposed to be. It's not about the stronger person prevails. Because the stronger person doesn't always prevail. Yes, life is not a movie. Life is not a fairy tale. Real life is bloody and messy and confusing, and sometimes the person who is bigger and stronger and heavier is going to overcome the lighter, weaker, smaller person. But it doesn't have to be that way. And these competitions teach people that it is always that way and that it should be that way. And that's the problem I have with them. Martial arts is not meant to teach you that the correct response to every situation is force, because it's not. Sometimes the correct response to a situation is gentleness. But these competitions teach people that the answer to everything is force. Force meeting force. The greater force overcomes the weaker force. That's not what this martial art or martial arts in general are supposed to teach you. That's the problem. Our friend, who I've tried very hard not to actually name because she's not here. She knows who she is. If she watches this later, hi, how you doing? She mentioned after she got back from this competition that she did a couple of Tai Chi moves on her opponent in this competition, and the opponent didn't know what to do. You're in a Tai Chi push hands competition. But if someone uses actual Tai Chi theory, you don't know what you're doing? That's the problem. You're not actually utilizing the skills that the martial art is supposed to teach you. You're just pushing. You're just pushing against, pushing back, pushing forward. Sometimes going forward is the wrong way. Alex says, just like with other situations, empathy and compassion is needed more than apathy and indifference. Yes. Yes. Absolutely 100%. Pretty cool. Good to know he had the confidence in you. Probably gave you. Actually, it did. I actually got a little teary-eyed when he gave me that certificate because like I said, I knew that he had printed it out without ever actually seeing me do the form. So I actually kind of teared up a little bit, like, wow, someone actually, someone actually has faith in me that I can do what I say I can do. But these stupid competitions are teaching an entire generation of people that every situation is always best to be pushing against. And it's not. How many times have you seen, I don't know, in a movie or a TV series, when someone's trying to gain entry into a room and they kick the door or try and shoulder into the door, and then someone else comes up and goes, wait a minute. They just walk up and turn the knob and the door opens. It's a trope for a reason. If you're standing in front of a door, your first instinct shouldn't be to kick the damn door down. Try the knob first. Don't meet force with force. And that's what these stupid competitions always do. It's always meeting force with a greater force. I have had one instance where someone was trying to push me around, had my back to the wall, to a wall, and they were pushing me into the wall. And of course, my initial reaction is try and push back, but they were stronger than me. I was meeting force with force, and I was losing. I was sandwiched between this bigger, heavier, stronger person and a brick wall. And eventually, my brain caught up to me and said, wait a minute, what are you doing? Why are you trying to meet force with force? I know I've talked about this in previous streams. Why are you meeting force with force? So the next time that he let up to go push me again, you want to go forward? Go forward. I rolled with it, and he went face first into the brick wall behind me. And that was pretty much the end of that encounter. Force is not always the answer. These competitions are all about who is the greater force. So, we've gotten to the hour. I pretty much said everything I have to say on the subject, repeatedly. But I have a question for all of my that's the American influence, I imagine. Yeah, you're probably right. But I have a question for all of my normal viewers, everyone who's always in the chat with me here. Normally, I do these every 2 weeks, which means the next one would be on August 3rd. However, the day after tomorrow, I will be on vacation from work for the next 2 weeks. So, what does everyone think about doing another stream next Saturday? Doing 3 weeks in a row. Let's see what people in the chat have to say. I have an idea on what I can talk about next week. How kind of you to compliment us like that. Absolutely, I've complimented you. I love every single one of you. I've never met a single one of you in person. I hope to, one of these days. Sounds good to Dan. Sounds good to Donna. I know that Joe and Trey have their Shakespeare thing. But that might be done by the time this stream starts. I don't know. But it sounds like don't want to impinge on your vacation, but if you do a show, we'll probably be here. Carl, I love you people. I love everybody here. The only reason I don't do this every Saturday is every other Saturday I'm usually at work. I'm going to be spending the next 2 weeks working on stuff for this channel, trying to get some videos up that I've had ideas for months now, but I can never find time to actually do them. So Alex likes the idea, loves these streams, unless you have something to do that's better than streaming. It's an hour out of my day. I get to sit, I get to talk to people, my sword family that I love greatly. So there you go. We're doing one next Saturday. Works for Don. Foxy's relatives aren't normal, and neither are mine. Love you too, sword family forever. That's right. Historical Fencing Guild will be putting on a show starting at 5 p.m. before the play, and the play starts at 7, so we'll most likely not be here. Yeah, I kind of figured, but I enjoy doing these streams. And I have an idea of something I can talk about. I'm stealing an idea from Nick. Hi, Nick. So next week, I will talk about books, movies, and TV series that influenced me into the swordsman that I am today. So yeah, look forward to that one. I'll do another one at the normal time on August 3rd. Totally forgot about the play next weekend, and the wife and I just talked about it a couple hours ago. I'm jealous. I wish I could be there with you guys. The last time I actually did, a public performance is when that would be when I, tripped over a stair and broke my hip. That was my last public performance. But before that, it's been a few years. Foxy does that all the time, yeah. Not Joe came into your brain for a second. Well, stole the thought. It's possible. If you guys can't watch live, I totally understand. Watch the rerun. It's all good. They're going to be there. But that pretty much covers it for tonight. Thank everyone, as always, for coming, for commenting, for listening to me ramble and repeat myself. Check out the links. Join the Sword family, patreon.com/bladedthesis, or buy a shirt at bonfire.com/store/the Teahouse. Check out IndieCD.org, a great resource for artists, musicians, writers, comic book artists. I'm on there. Foxy's on there. It is a great place. I love everybody. Sounds good to Carl? Yes. 18 hits. If they're going to do it again, you betcha I'm going to be there if I can convince Nick to take me. And I have a feeling it will take very little convincing. Have a great evening. Have a great night. Great show as always. Thank you, Joe. I am beyond thrilled that everyone loves to come here and listen to me ramble. I am beyond thankful that Joe has allowed me to be part of his StreamYard so I can do all this cool stuff. My logo in the corner. This is just awesome. I love it. Have a lovely weekend. Joe's heading over to Discord. All right. Great show. Good evening. Everyone have a good night. I will see you all next Saturday. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. I will see some of you on Monday morning, Monday evening. We'll be, eating dinner, but I love you all. And 再见。